Hey guys, LevelCap here, and today in gaming, 343 announces some big news about Halo Infinite, Squad version 2.0 has been delayed, PUBG is getting a bizarre new map, and much more. Halo Infinite has been delayed to fall of next year. The news broke in a massive blog post 343 published last night detailing all the work being done to get the game finished. The blog post also covered some of what players can expect at launch. New screenshots of multiplayer maps look great and show a highly detailed combat arena. Infinite's multiplayer will also be free to play, and despite that, it won't have loot boxes or random rewards, which are common in free-to-play games. There will be premium cosmetics though that players can buy with real money. As for the game's rough gameplay reveal back in July, many of that demo's issues stemmed from it being an incomplete build of the game. The meme-worthy brute Craig that became an overnight sensation was the victim of enemy facial animations not being implemented yet. Based on the blog post, it does sound like the game's campaign is in a complete state. The game's new creative director, Joseph Staten, was brought onto Infinite back in August to help 343 finish the project. He says he's played through Infinite's campaign twice and was stunned by how expansive it is. When it comes to Halo, it's often hard to find any sort of consensus among players about anything. Everyone has their favorite Halo game, everyone has their favorite armor or weapon. Some people think 343 have done a lousy job since taking over the franchise. Other people think they've taken the franchise in a new direction that adds a lot of depth and intrigue. Overall, it's clear that July's gameplay reveal of Infinite disappointed a lot of people. While the exact reasons might be different, it was enough to push 343 to do better. Hopefully the delay gives 343 the time they need to really nail Infinite. Squad's next major update, version 2.0, has been delayed. The update entered public testing last week and several bugs were discovered that have taken longer than expected for the devs to squash. Playtesting will continue throughout December and players can expect more updates to the playtest build before the holidays. The official release is now scheduled for January. Version 2.0 is a massive update to the game that implements helicopter improvements, new vehicles for two factions, new insurgent weapons, a layer overhaul, graphics settings overhaul, and much more. Version 1.0 launched in September and added Fallujah, the game's first full-scale urban combat map. It was a huge success as far as updates go and brought the game out of early access into full release. Version 2.0 might sound like a smaller update on the surface since it doesn't offer a highly anticipated map, but it's actually quite an important one. The new gameplay layer sort out many issues with the flow of matches. The improved graphics settings breathed new life into the game's visuals while also improving performance. Overall, it seems like version 2.0 is the kind of significant quality of life update that I think many players have wanted for the game since well before 1.0's launch. A little old game called Cyberpunk 2077 is rolling out today, and while it's still a bit early to boil down the reviews into a real consensus, one thing that everyone does agree on is that it looks incredible. Digital Foundry's first impressions of the game running off PC is that it's the most impressive PC title ever released. This is due mainly to the sheer scale and density of the game and its ray tracing effects. Reflections, shadows, ambient occlusion, direct lighting, and global illumination are all available as ray tracing options. With them all cranked up, players can expect insane visuals at a pretty severe performance hit. That said, with DLSS enabled and settings adjusted to be more balanced, you can achieve a very impressive presentation without being forced to play at like 12 FPS. As for the game's post-launch content, CD Projekt Red included a hidden note in the game's launch trailer that promises free DLC is on the way soon after launch. Players can expect similar free content to what they did for The Witcher 3, so free cosmetics, new side quests, items, and more. I'm planning on having full coverage of the game up early tomorrow morning after getting some hands-on time to experience Night City. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds' next update is available on the game's PC test server, and it makes some big additions. A new 1x1 kilometer map called Haven has been added. This is the smallest map for PUBG yet, but where things get really weird is that the map features AI enemies defending key locations. When alerted, these enemies can call in support in the form of a scout helicopter that will spot you for another tactical vehicle that will hunt you down. For now, it sounds like these enemies will be specific to Haven and aren't being added to other maps. Microsoft are rolling out their Xcloud game streaming platform on PC and iOS next spring. They hit a major roadblock on iOS thanks to Apple's strict rules regarding games on their App Store. Microsoft's workaround is a browser-based experience that players can use to log into the service, bypassing the need to have an actual app for the iPhone. On PC, Xcloud will compete with GeForce Now, Google Stadia, and PlayStation Now. All of the major game streaming services made significant strides this year by proving the technology works for most casual gaming experiences like single players and co-op. It even works to some extent for PvP multiplayer games, though there's still room for improvement in that regard. Xcloud currently supports most of Microsoft's most popular Xbox titles, so it's sure to do well on the PC. Spider-Man Miles Morales just got a new performance mode option on the PlayStation 5 that offers 60 FPS gameplay with ray tracing enabled. Until now, players had chosen between ray tracing at 30 FPS or ray tracing off at 60 FPS. The new mode turns down crowd density and resolution, but the impact of ray traced reflections and 60 FPS gameplay is pretty stunning. Many players are saying going back to 30 FPS ray tracing mode feels like a massive step backward. It's great to see consoles finally offering the premium performance PC players have enjoyed for years, especially when it's an optional setting. The Game Awards kick off tomorrow and will apparently be host to at least 12 new game announcements. The annual award show typically offers some solid end-of-year announcements from major studios, and we're expecting the new Dragon Age game to be revealed this year. As for other stuff, The Way Out's developers will be debuting a new game as well, and despite EA's heavy presence at the award show this year, I wouldn't expect any significant Battlefield news. In our final story today, Medal of Honor Above and Beyond launches on December 12th, but you'll need to clear some hard drive space in order to play. The VR shooter by Respawn will eat up 180 gigabytes on launch. That is a massive download even by VR standards. The devs recommend some pretty high-end hardware for the game as well, like an Intel i7 processor and an RTX 2080 GPU. Compared to Half-Life Alyx's meager recommended specs, it's a big hardware leap. The devs are also recommending that players install the game on an SSD for maximum smoothness. And that does it for Today in Gaming. Be sure to subscribe and tune in tomorrow to catch our in-depth coverage of Cyberpunk 2077. I'll be doing a first impressions video with lots of the graphic settings cranked up using one of the next-gen GPUs, so drop on by for that. Check it out. As always, thanks for watching, guys. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.